Okay, guys, so welcome on. I gave a little bit more time for everybody today. Welcome all the students, welcome everybody. And let's crack on. All right, so I'm going to hit record. Let's go. Okay, guys, so welcome to our live analysis session. Today is Wednesday, 11th of August, 2021, in the 8th month of the year. All right, so looking at what we have going on so far. All right, now we've just had the CPI news come out, and the CPI news remains unchanged for Q2. Okay, but it has caused the US dollar to show some signs of weakening. We have a short appearing here. Now, we were expecting the price to get here anyway. So as I always tell you, the market always finds an opportunity of why it was going to do something anyway. So we do have a short that's appeared on the market. All right. I'm still watching out for our trade here. USD CAD is the main one we're watching out for. Okay, we've just had the news, so I'm waiting for the price to get back into this area here. So if you've been following us for a little while, then you know this is what we're going for. All right. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to close up these for a moment so we have more room to look at what the market is doing. So many markings I said from yesterday that I would delete. I think I'll do them now to allow for this to move even more swiftly. All right, so pound USD also prices is pushing up for a long. Okay, again, I told you guys I still expect a short to happen, but this is a necessary long. I did say that even though the price was showing some sort of sign of reversal here, I didn't believe it would last, and the price has proved true. And the reason is very simple. Where the price was, there was the reversal signature, but there was no demand to support that movement. And this is the same thing every single time, I would say. For those of you who are already traders or aspire to be traders, okay, this is probably one of the most important pieces of advice I can give to you. This will be one of them, and that is when you're trading, you can't trade by patterns alone. You need to see the money in the market. If you follow just patterns, it's very easy for you to lose money most of the time because this pattern right here, without liquidity to push the price to where it needs to go to, is useless. It just becomes another part of the price action that we're expecting. So I'm watching how the price is behaving. I haven't taken many trades yet. The only trade I've taken so far, which didn't play out as we want, is Euro Japanese yen. Now I'm still keeping my eyes on it because I still believe that the euro is quite weak right now against most currency pairs, and we'll be watching to see how that plays out. But that's just one word of advice I can give to you guys. So pound USD is pushing long. How far this will go, we will see. I'm hoping the price provides an entry for a short. And I'm looking for something along the lines of my markings, so something from back up here and then after a short. But we'll see. Today is Wednesday, and usually most of the liquidity or most of the activity for good trades start to happen from Wednesdays. A lot of the reversals on trends happen on the Wednesdays. So I'll be intrigued to see what happens here. With now across all of the US pairs where the US dollar is the quote, we're seeing quite a strong long here, showing signs of weakness, and you can see that the price is pushing up quite heavily. And I do expect it to continue until 2 o'clock. Now, really for you, what I'm watching out for is USD CAD. Now, it's already close to my first alarm, so I won't annoy you with you hearing that sound. But my first target for an entry, now I did give you guys this trade indirectly. I did say that the price is above the weekly high here, so there is a chance of the reversal, and we've had it. The price has done just that. But the real trade we're looking for is not the short, it is the long. And the long we're looking for is a return back to this area here. So I'm waiting to see how this plays out. But I mean, you could use the H4 or the H1 area. The H4 area for this is this whole area here. But I'm expecting the price to hit the targets, which will be for the price to reach around about here. And I'll be looking for an entry to go along. Now, our stop loss is not going to be this full width here because that's 25 pips. We're going more for a 10 pip stop loss. So observing the price as to where it is, I do expect the price to dip down slightly lower. So stop loss will be about 16, possibly can hide in the wicks here. But since the price is returning right here, I think we're almost ready for what we need with USD CAD to what we want USD CAD to do. Again, what we're looking at with USD CAD here, Now, because the price is in this strong area of supply, it is a bit of a risky one, but because of some of the inefficiencies that the market left when it was on its way short, I believe the price will recoup it. So I'm going to keep my eyes peeled here and see what the price does. I'll keep my mind is really focused on this area right here and how the price behaves in here. So I'm looking to see how the price will produce the long, but to me, it looks like we're getting an entry to go for a long. Now, this news I'm sure is going to probably push gold up, which is our second. Now, here we go. So gold having this timely move is fantastic. I kind of figured the price would do this on a Wednesday. And so the CPI news we've had, gold is pushing back up to the areas that we were looking for, which is this supply zone here. I'm looking to take a trade on gold for a short. We haven't had any reversal signature so far. We've just had this massive short, which I think will get filled out with a long. And I'm expecting the price to return back here and then provide a really cool short. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled here. The price looks like it's returning. So I'll be looking for entries within this area here for another short. And I believe the next short on gold is going to be another phantasma. Now, if the price breaks above supply here, then I will take it long back up to about this region here. But for now, I do think that gold is definitely a strong short. I'm going to change my trend line back to red so that we have good markings here. But this is what I'm looking for. So I do think the price has a little bit more to go before we get the next short on gold. Okay. If you want to put it in a way, the price is trying to find this momentum back on the upside before shooting down again, because we're not done. There's still levels, you know, pre-coronavirus and, you know, mid-coronavirus that haven't been filled out quite a bit far down. And because we're in this phase where we know the CPI right now is increased quite high, and also inflation has increased, okay? And a lot of it is due to what's happened with the coronavirus. I think the coronavirus has propelled, you know, the broken system into further decay. And so gold will be attacked always, you know, even though the US dollar has overall gained strength due to the tapering announcement, the amount of change we saw in the price action for gold, how the price shorted, is unnatural. This was done through manipulation on purpose to discourage people away from gold, because gold is a hedge against inflation. So you have to read between the lines here when you're looking at the market. This is why I'm watching out for these pairs primarily. So I'm going to allow the price to get here, but I do think gold is about to give us a very good entry for us to go back for a short again. So I'm just keeping my eyes peeled on seeing what the price is doing. I mean, all across here, there are different zones. Again, my limit on the 15-minute, that rhymes. My limit on the 15-minute is this supply zone here. If the price gets past this 15-minute area here, which was holding the price through the end of Friday into Sunday night, then I would be out. But I do think that gold is just pushing back up for us to get in. So probably around about 3 o'clock, maybe I'm estimating, possibly even 2 o'clock for the price to give us what we're hoping to see. And yeah, I'm keeping my wits about me, guys. So we're looking quite close to an entry here. And I'll be expecting to see what the price really does. All right. Now, moving forward, I'm going to do a quick scan, see what opportunities are here for the day. I wouldn't leave this for too long. Now, I mean, the market has been a little bit dry, you know, compared to other weeks. And I do think it's because there isn't that much fundamental news as well as there would be in other weeks. We're kind of in the boring week, okay, before another exciting fundamental week. So, you know, I'm still keeping my eyes peeled for whatever we might find, but let's see, NZD/USD is done a very strong long. Let's look at the rest of the pairs and see what we have here. So really what I'm scanning for is just to look at the opportunities that are around, to see what the market is doing. If there isn't anything that I see, again, we'll call it a session, okay? Now, Euro CHF, I was looking at this today and it looks like there's a good short potential here. From the H4 and the D1, I was looking at this earlier on, and I do like the way it looks. We had the return into supply here. Now, I wasn't comfortable with this high, but the price just came for it, so we're all clear. And all I'm really looking for here, I mean, even if you use the trend line, all we really need right here is just a break of the market structure. If you use the trend line, or you could use a whole load of range of things here. I'll use a trend line just for visual aid here, but looking for this break of the trend line here, which we're having. primarily the way that I would trade, I wouldn't like to use a trend line most of the time because a trend line can be deceiving because the price can break out of a trend line and get back into it. And the reason that that happens, guys, I want to save you and help you. Is because there's no break of swing lows. If the market doesn't break the structure of swing lows and swing highs, which are very important points in the market, then even if a trend line breaks geometrically, it doesn't mean that the market structure is changing also. All right. So this is a key point. But if I see something along the lines of this and some sort of pullback here, then I'll be in Euro CHF and I'll be looking to take this on the way down. Now, I'm actually a proponent. I don't really like Euro CHF really, but when the market gives us an opportunity to potentially get a good trade here, why not take advantage of it? So I'll be looking to take this for a short, and I do think this will give us a nice short right here. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled. I'm going to put this right here. And also put this here so that we can have enough, the advantage to see what the market does here. Now I want to close up some of my charts. I also have CAD CHF here too. So good thing I didn't close. But CAD CHF also is another opportunity here. I'm eyeing it up from this order block here, which is an important one. And it looks as though that we might get a nice CHF reversal here. At the moment, the price is holding at this H1 area, but if there was a break, and what I'm going to do is set an alarm, I would actually take this trade. If the price does break this area, then I would really be looking for a good short. On my charts, they show some gaps here. Now I'll compare it with other broker charts to see if this gap is legit or if it's just a price feed. But there is a gap all the way back down here. So, to me, Euro CHF and CAD CHF seem to be looking to do the same thing. So we might see some Swiss franc strengthening. I don't know if there's any Swiss franc news. We can have a look at that in a moment and see what the market is saying on that side. But this looks like a really good trade here that we can go for. I mean, from this point, that's almost 200 pips. I definitely would like to capture something like this, and I'm keeping my eyes poised. I'm going to drag this all the way up to the front. I'm going to delete Euro JPY for the moment. Well, actually, I won't because we need it. I'm going to delete this here. And yeah, I think we have some good trades here that Wednesday is provided. I like Wednesday so much, man. It really is cool. It really is a cool day. So I'll keep this here. All right, pound USD. Because of my markings, I'll keep these here. Try to keep as many, but we don't need NZD CHF. So let's have a look and see what else is going on. Now we can check this advanced strengths later on, but I'm going to watch out and see what we get here. So Euro JPY entered into a higher area of supply and is selling off. All right, CAD. So you can see AED CHF. Not really into AED pairs at the moment, personally. NZD Japanese yen. So NZD Japanese yen is pushing higher, which is good. Okay. It's approaching, for me, an area where I believe we're about to have another reversal again for a short. So if you guys remember with NZD JPY, now the price spiked down here, but hasn't returned to demand just yet. So, but it's still been struggling. We've had, about 6 or 7 weeks, about 6 weeks of the price hanging within this weekly supply zone. Now, from the H4 here, the structure of price looks like we had quite a big reversal. And if possible, if the price returns to this H4 area, then it will be quite clean to suggest we should take a sell. I do think that NZD Japanese yen is not done with the short just yet. I just think we're having a very healthy return. But I would like to see how the price behaves here. I'll use my Fibonacci and see where we are. I mean, the 86 level is the only level left that we could really go for, which is right back here. And I mean, of course, we're not going to go for a 20 pip stop loss. Our stop losses are always a lot smaller. But if I zoom in here from the H1, all right, there's the perfect zone. So there's the perfect zone right here. So our entry will be here. So I think I can actually set this as an order pending already. If you want to take this trade, guys, I'm looking for an entry right about here. NZD JPY is providing a good opportunity. All right, the market is looking good, guys. I think this is going to be a great trade to take. All we need really is this area here. That's all we need. That's going to be our entry point, and we're going to take this trade for a short. So I'm about to put this out. I'll send this to you students in a moment. This is our entry that we need. This is all we need for an entry for sure. Yeah. All right, guys. So I think we've got some good trades. By the time the week is out, we should be smiling. All right. Should be smiling. All right. So I'm going to still XRP for a moment. Let's have a look and see what else is going on. Okay, on the chart. So silver pulling back, but not so much. US oil, we've had a spike into demand, and UK oil, sorry, spike into demand. So we might see a good long soon. US oil. Now I'm hoping that this could continue short because the pair correlation at the moment, we know with the US dollar, Canadian dollar versus oil, they have an inverse relationship. So if oil is going long, USD CAD will be going short. All right. So let's see. NZD Swiss franc. Now there's New Zealand, well, the New Zealand dollar is showing real good strength against the Swiss franc, which is interesting. All right, let's see how long that would last for. We'll see how long that will last for. But yeah, I think we're in a really good place, guys, for some good trades. I think what I'm going to do is post these out, post out my analysis. Let me guys know what you think. I'm thinking to make a blog page where I might post these, you know, who knows? Let's see. All right, so no Bitcoin right now. I think we're quite good. I'm going to do one more scan just to make sure we haven't missed out on anything. All right. Yeah. I think it will be good to just keep it as it is for now. I mean, pound USD just did an entry that possibly might provide a short, but I'm not going to try to get myself too tempting. All right. I think, yeah, USD CHF has also returned back to this area, guys. So I think the short is right too. Yeah. I think the Swiss franc is about to gain some serious strength. Let's have them look at the news quickly to see. But I think it's time for us to go for Swiss franc pairs. I'm poised for those. Yeah. Now, if I was to pick out of the three, which one I would take, my top choice, okay, would be USD CHF because the US dollar, despite the news, is still quite strong compared to other currencies due to the tapering. My second choice of pair would be Euro CHF because we're seeing very strong weakness on the Swiss franc. But because of what the US dollar tapering is doing at the moment, if this was to go short, this will be just the pullback that we need. So because we've had such a strong, now let me clarify, because we've had such a strong reaction because of the US dollar tapering, it's natural for them to kind of balance out the strength and show us a bit of weakening before another strengthening. So as a trade, this will be a great one to take. Euro CHF, another great one, fundamentally speaking. But we'll see because we don't have a market structure break. At the moment, the price is spiking right now. I don't see a market structure break, so I'm not moving. Same thing with USD CHF. With USD CHF, actually, to be fair, the price is showing stronger signs of trying to reverse, but I'm still keeping my cards to my chest. So let's see what happens with this market. And we'll go for something from here. So yeah, let's quickly end off this side and let's quickly pull up the rest of what we have. So I'll use, what do I have free? Let's see what I've got free that I can use. All right, I'm going to steal one of these. I still I'll still this. Just scan through just quickly to make sure. Now, there's different days have different things. Sometimes it's nice to just be a bit, fluid with the price. I have my specific pairs, which is USD CAD, gold, and pound USD. Those are my favorite three at the moment. It does change over time. Sometimes I have my favorites in the commodity section. It really does depend, but really the aim is just to capture profit from the market. Now, looking at what we have here, I think the best pairs, the crosses are not really showing much liquidity as we would want, apart from the Swiss franc pairs, which are showing a bit more life to them. And then ZDJPY is looking quite good also. But really, I'm going to stay away from crosses and just stick to just these few that we have. So not contradictory, but just CAD CHF, CAD Swiss franc, NZDJPY, and Euro JPY to a certain degree as well. I'm just going to be balancing between those, okay, using the pair correlation strength analysis to be able to pick out, what potentially we could get. So what I'm going to do, guys, let me just pull up FX Street before we go. Let's have a look and see if there's any other news that we're not aware of that could potentially be happening. I always like to look at, and I didn't look at the news yesterday, but I always like to look at the news every other day. And the reason is very simple, guys. New pieces of news come out sometimes that weren't there a lot of the news feed for Forex or for speeches, especially now with data, because it's quite predictable, I never worry about missing out on data speeches. If it says it that there's some data news, then it's definitely going to be there. One thing that I do always try to look out for is if there's going to be any special events, things that happen once in a lifetime, like maybe a speech from, maybe not once in a lifetime, but not so often. And usually that comes under the category of speeches. So if you're a news person, a fundamental trader, or you're really into fundamentals or the fundamentals of the market, I would say to you that definitely try to go for refreshing your page at least once a day, okay? Even twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, wherever you are in the world, just to make sure, that you haven't missed out on anything. So I'm loading this up now. Here's FX Street. Here. Let's have a look and see what's going on. So far we've had these pieces of news come out, okay? So the CPI is at 5.4%, okay? Consumer price index is at 0.3%, okay? We have a speech still from Bostic at 3:30. Okay, so nothing's changed really there. Now into tomorrow, what do we have? Let's see. So tomorrow, or tomorrow morning, early in the morning for us GMT time, we have consumer inflation expectations and Royal Bank of New Zealand's inflation expectations. So their aim is to always keep their inflation expectations around 2%. That's what every central bank tries to aim for. Okay. But looking at what we have here, I don't see any high impact news. There is a lot of pound news actually in the morning. Wow, there's quite a lot of pound news in the morning. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's 14 pieces of pound news at the same time in the morning. So I wouldn't be surprised if the pound actually did some pips. Okay. Now, pound news is a very interesting type of news. Me being from the UK, is very funny how the pound news works out. But usually what we see is the pound has clusters of news. So if you know what I call the wall of fire, there is a week, I believe it is usually either the fourth week of the month or the first week of a new month, where we have, if I'm not wrong, about 9 pieces of high impact news at 12 o'clock GMT time every single month. And I call that the wall of fire because literally anything can happen. Okay. So from what I'm seeing here, I don't really see anything Swiss franc based at all. Okay, we have a few US dollar speeches and the monthly budget coming out at 7. That's Thursday. And then into Friday, let's have a look and see. Into Friday, we have a very low maintenance day. What I'm going to do is just refresh this so that it shows the whole week, because it looks like it's only showing up to 1:30. I'm sure there's more news than that. So let me do this. Okay, so is it loading more? Okay, it's not loading anymore. All right, so what I'll do, let's just pull this up and get the rest for the week. But to me, as I said, I knew that this week wouldn't be that fundamental. Okay, doesn't mean that the market won't do anything. Don't hear me out. It's just that sometimes when there's less fundamental news, sometimes the market can be a little bit quiet, sometimes, not all the time. Okay. Still looking at the charts, the price is still moving in places, but nothing, no joy just yet. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled and let's see. All right, so okay, expanding now, we do have a high piece of high impact news that does move the market. We have at 3 o'clock the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. Okay, so if there are changes to that, it will cause the US dollar to move on a Friday. Now, I wasn't expecting that much from this week, okay, but we may still be able to see some great things, moving forward. So I'm more than happy to, watch out and see, what we get from it. But I'm coming back to the charts now. have a final look to see what's going on here. So coming back to the charts, the prices are moving quite, still moving a little bit from the effect of the news, but it's kind of calmed down now since we've hit 2 o'clock, which I was expecting. Still haven't got what we want yet. If I do see a market structure break, then we'll be definitely going for it. I'm gonna go for an NZD Japanese yen short. I like the look of the price on there. USD Japanese yen is already shorting, but I'm guessing it'll pull back. Yeah, so I mean, again, I mean, there are movements in the market, but it's not really the most, you know, exciting, a great, week. I think we could have had a better week, but let's see what happens. Between now to Friday, there's still opportunity in the market. And yeah, let's see what happens there, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. Students will continue, and those of you in the live stream, catch you in the next